A bizarre mystery has brewed in rural Canada.
So I'm told the green fire has become a legend among this town.
The idea of it perplexes. The reality of it frightens.
I absolutely did not see a green fire on September the 7th, 1989.
And one man in particular seems more than involved.
I don't know, but I remember we had him a lot, referring to the man who hired them. I'm called the man.
Welcome to the third episode of a 5-part series following the surreal and misanthropic town of Swastika, Ontario. I'm Jack Matthews, and this is Duper.
Shut your tits! Hope you're ready for this. I was at grocery store, but I couldn't remember what for. Was it for corn? Or magazine corn?
A lot has changed since I got that initial phone call from my father.
There's something I heard about. It's pretty big. Have you heard anything in the news about Swastika recently?
I thought now might be a good time to recap everything we've learned. About the town itself, Swastika is not the quiet village it seems. It's a manufacturing town with an imagination of its own and a steady rate of local disturbances. There was a strike, and still is, at Swastika Laboratories. Striker John Ginger's house was burned down by, according to the firefighters, a legendary green fire. A fire that apparently also burned down the steel mill in 1989. The owner of that mill, Jacques Legatineau, had been in a civil lawsuit for inequitable treatment of his employees. Joseph Zachary, a local, was approached with a deal for him to take the fall for the mill's destruction. And lastly, the two men that approached Joseph in 1989 spoke of an unidentified person called the Man. Now, this seems like a lot of information, but this is in fact very little. When we have more, we can start finding out who's telling the truth. For now, we assume everyone is. Even when you know someone's lying through their teeth.
Vote Mayor Adams!
That's Michelle Adams, the mayor of Swastika.
And part of the reason I left.
That's Simon, our producer.
She became mayor in '87 when she was like 22 years old.
How is that possible?
That was after Hurricane Shiesty hit Swastika. People just wanted fresh blood, and she fit the bill. Then, never left.
So, what is it about her? What did she do to make you want to leave?
You remember all those evacuations I mentioned earlier? Well, at our school, we went into lockdown mode and we kept track like 17 times. The school was evacuated 74 times.
Yeah?
All her.
What do you mean?
Okay, well first she had this huge campaign to try and make Swastika the butterfly capital of southern Ontario, and it just led to a complete infestation. Not even of butterflies, but moths.
Moths?
Yeah, she got moths and butterflies confused somehow, ended up ordering 6 million moth eggs. Then to try and kill off the moths, she bought 2 million bats. Then to counter the bats, she got 500 owls. Then to take care of the owls, she bought 50 grizzly bears. Then to get rid of the bears, she bought a vial of unidentified plague. And that was only in her first year of office.
That's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard.
I know, it's hard to believe.
So, what happened with the plague?
Oh, that sort of just went away.
Vote Mayor Adams.
Oh, I'm actually not a resident here.
Ah, I see. What can I do for you?
I paid her a visit in her office. She had a youthful face, short blonde hair, and my goal was to see if she knew anything about Duman. Well, I just had some questions about the fire that occurred.
Oh, such a tragedy.
Yeah, of course. I've also heard from some of your townspeople that the fire was green. Have you heard about this?
You know, I haven't, but I'm intrigued. Who, may I ask, told you this?
Well, it doesn't matter, but what does matter is that this has supposedly happened numerous times. At this point, she was nervous. Sweat began to roll down the side of her face. Her voice started to quiver.
Oh, you can tell me who told you. I'm just curious.
A large man walked into the room. How about this? I'll tell you who told me about this green fire, and you tell me everything you know about Duman. I had never been so scared.
Are you really going to interrogate me in my own town? In my office? You want to play journalist? Do it somewhere else. Go back to wherever it is you came from. And you know what? Here's a little advice. Don't ask questions. Don't show your face in Swastika again. And do not test me.
Duman was real, and the mayor feared him. She feared him to the point where she would threaten a journalist on record just to protect his identity. Duman was dangerous. This was the first point I realized that I may have been involved in something I'd regret, or worse, something that would make me unable to regret entirely. As soon as I got home, I checked my messages, and I saw that there was one from an unlisted number.
You have 2 new messages. You have 1 saved message. First new message.
Before a magistrate judge of Grand Jury for a federal criminal.
Sorry about that. Wrong message.
Message erased. Next message.
Hello, Jack. I hope the investigation is going well. Have my clues been helping? Because I'm really excited for you to figure everything out. Can't wait, in fact. Also, loving the podcast. Well, I'm pretty busy here, so I'll leave you to it. Oh, by the way, this is Duman.
Duper is brought to you by Currency. Don't scratch it, it's the law. Duper is written and directed by Luke Mandel and produced by Adam Bovoletis, Tim Blair, and Simon Jefferson. Music by Sergei Lev Kaufman. We'd also like to thank Sidetracked Show for making this podcast possible. Also, a big thank you to myself, Daniel King, the editor of this podcast. I'd just like to quickly mention that I, Daniel King, have no personal issue with Duman, and for the record, wish him well in his endeavors.
Next time on Duper.
Planes, they were so shut the up, planes!
This town was so openly strange, it was as if its abnormalities were laughing at me, mocking my abilities, and the fact that I couldn't prove or uncover a goddamn thing, well, I guess it just got to me.
So, what now?
I'm not sure.